Have you ever found yourself or a friend of yours or a child of yours crying and asking yourself or asking them, what are you crying for? And they're like, I don't know. What is happening there is that the pipe has burst. Your emotions have stacked on top of each other so much that something's got to give. And your body, your mind, your being is starting to express and release some of that pressure that is building up inside you. So why do we get to that point? Well, what happens over a long period of time is that we, through every segment that we enter into in our lives, we gather information and we gain or have an emotion attached to whatever we see and experience. And so at a subconscious level, we can suppress emotions as a way of protecting us. The role of the subconscious mind is to protect us. So we can suppress emotions. And there's almost a point where we can't control at a conscious level those emotions. Our subconscious is doing what it's there to do, and that is to protect us. And the other way that those emotions begin to stack up is by not managing them. So rather than dealing with the emotion, like maybe it might be anger, like someone's angered us, or we've felt angered by somebody, then we look to escape those emotions. And that can be done by looking for anything that's going to make us happy. And that's where we can turn to addiction, like smoking, drugs, alcohol, sex, food, whatever it might be. Something that's going to give us that instant gratification and sense of, oh, that feels so good, but we actually haven't dealt with the emotions. So that starts to stack on top of each other as well. And so what needs to happen to avoid that uncontrollable outburst of tears or emotion that might explode from you is learn how to manage our emotions. And managing our emotions is actually really, really simple and true to us as humans. We love to overcomplicate life. And what is really simple about managing emotions is just as simple as how it is to actually eat healthy. And you're only going to eat healthy if you value it. If you value what it means to you to eat healthy. You're only going to exercise if you value what it means to value and what it means to exercise and what that means to you. So when we learn how to manage emotions, we are then effectively able to transform our lives, transform our families' lives, and the rippling effect of all those that we're surrounded by, because emotions are contagious, like really, really are. Like if you think about emotions, it's energy moving. And say, for example, you've got, you're feeling like angry or frustrated, and you come home from work and you've had a run-in with somebody at work, whatever it might be, and you come home and you're like tense. Everybody in the room can feel it. I'm sure you've felt that and experienced this before. And so that's just a really great example of how emotions are contagious. Yet if you had sat in the car for 5 minutes and sat nice and quiet within yourself and recognized how you were feeling and feeling it within your body, because our body is talking to us all the time about how we're feeling. Sometimes we can feel a bit nauseous or a bit tense in the shoulder or a headache, anything, like lots of things. This is our body speaking to us about our emotions that are potentially like being suppressed, not suppressed, but like just, being stored in the body. So, if we've taken that time before entering the household to recognize and sit with those emotions are very similar to a knot in your body when you've pulled a muscle or whatever through extreme exercise or, doing some heavy resistance. When you put pressure on the knot, it starts to dissipate, to release, to move. And it's the same with emotions, guys. So when you draw attention to the emotion, give it the attention that it wants, because it wants to be recognized, then it's going to start to move and release like a cloud, like moving in the sky and revealing the blue sky behind you. Then you can walk into the household feeling calm, relaxed, excited even, depending on how far you've taken that emotional process. Because when you release that emotion, that negative emotion that you were feeling, you can just as powerfully replace that emotion with something that you do want. And that is really simply done by like a visualization process, imagining something or feeling a sense of love or excitement or humor or something like that. Get yourself into that zone, and then when you jump out of the car and step into the household, and then you start to physically act that way, everything is going to start to compound and move in that direction. So yeah, if you have ever found yourself crying with emotions, sort of almost like an unknown outburst, then consider what that was all about. Start to reverse engineer it and go back to the root of the reason why you were upset in the first place. And you're only going to be able to go back so far, because as I said before, the subconscious part of you will suppress those emotions without you consciously really being aware. And that is where what I do can really like be a game changer in terms of releasing those suppressed emotions, so that it frees up. It's like a computer system when it's overloaded, or like it's just been running off a system that is just like really clogging up the computer. When you go take it to an IT specialist and you get it back and it's like running really well, that's exactly what I do. It's so awesome. So we're releasing those stored emotions that allow you to feel lighter, calmer, to move faster, to be more efficient, to move in the direction that you want to create for yourself, and so on and so on. So if what I've said to you really makes sense to you, and you're like, yeah, like that, it all adds up, it makes total sense, and you're wanting some more information, let's connect and let's see where the conversation takes us.